I was working nights, weekends, holidays, 6 to 6, and I was going to school to be a state trooper at the time. I would have been working the same schedule, so I started thinking like, damn, this isn't what I want to do. I want to be able to coach my kids in football. I want to be able to, do shit. I don't want to do shit. I want to be able to have a picnic on a holiday and not be working on a holiday. And it's that's where I started thinking about it.
So what's up? You gonna do it tonight then? Punk motherfucker! You gonna do it tonight? Punk motherfucker! Lock it up then! Lock it up.
Mikey from M&S, when he passed, I went with a buddy of mine to his memorial, and it was only supposed to be friends and family. It was, it wasn't public. It wasn't posted anywhere as far as I know. And when we showed up there was thousands of people in the street. Thousands. You couldn't fucking walk. You couldn't walk, you couldn't drive. There was people everywhere. Supras, this and that. And I still remember exactly where I was. I was on the Q Bridge on the drive home. I was just like, I want to do something. I want to make a name for myself doing what I love to do. Not just working, not trying to make 100 grand a year, not trying to make 6 figures, doing whatever I can do. I wanted to do what I want to do and make a name for myself doing something that I love. So that's where it really put the bug in my head. Try to get to the shop at 9 a.m. every morning. Depends on, you gotta walk through the house, get everybody up. It depends on how late we worked the night before, so. We were working 9 to trying to be out of there at midnight, every night, so. The last week before the cars left, I was at the shop from Friday at 9 a.m. till Tuesday at 7 a.m. We're working 16, 17, 18 hours a day, trying to get 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And go back to it again. Mac Brosnan. Build race cars. When I explain it to normal people, like people I went to school with and shit like that, the easiest way to say it is that I build race cars. Because you're not gonna say you're a mechanic, Like that's it. I ruined it.
Yeah, you did.
When the fucking methanol car's on and your eyes, you always get all fucked up and shit. Fucking slow, deep breath through your mouth, like light. Not like you breathe through your nose, you're fucked.
It was 2015, and my dad lost his job. He was a Honda tech for years, and he got hurt. And when he was ready to come back, they basically told him, you're beat. We hired somebody for less, so you can come back and you can work part-time in parts for $10 an hour or something like that, or you can buzz off, pretty much. We started it as something for my dad, He wanted, I see him working in the driveway, he's working at, my mom's got a business that, they have a service shop in the back. But if he has to do trannies or something like that, a tranny, a motor swap, something like that, he's working till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's not an old dude, but in his 50s. At that time, he was like 55. Working till 1 a.m., like that's just not cool, So I started looking, and I started looking for a shop for him. When my dad and I started, he was, what should I call the shop? When he was my age in Queens, he had a shop called Command Performance. And I thought that was cool, and I wanted him to be excited about it, because it was a lot of new shit for him, and I wanted him to be excited about it, and we called it Command Performance, and it just stuck. I'm working on the car for a customer in New York. Only thing that the guy had ever had before that was, I think, like an RSX or something like that. And did full bolt-ons to the car, gave it back to him. Maybe not even a week later, dude crashed the car, and that's Kimbo. But when I see somebody at like a bar that I went to school with, so, hey, what are you doing? You finished school? And I'm like, no, I'm actually just a mechanic. He brought it to a body shop. He just went off the road, hit a fence. The damage was minor. But he brought it to a body shop that quoted him 40 grand to fix it. So Greg offered the kid 24 grand for the car, and he bought it. And he put about 10 grand into it and had the whole car perfect. We were sitting at a pizza place, and he's like, He said, if you want the gray car, I'll sell it to you for X amount. I didn't have the money, but it was a good deal and I made it work. He sold that to me, and you know, then we built the car, and we built it only for street racing. And that's where Kimbo came from. You know, Kimbo used to fight in the street, and that was it. And it looked bone stock, like bone stock. Like I had stock fuel rail, stock fuel lines, stock intercooler piping, stock intake manifold, throttle bodies, everything. Stock fuel pump sending unit. And the car made 1,100. You know, and we were, at the time, we were thinking about coming out with something called like the Hustler package, you know, because the car looked as stock as could be. And everybody's gonna be mad about it now that it's on film, but you know, the car made 1,100, and we used to go out and race anybody. And we, at one point on exit 10, we were giving somebody 5 cars in the break. I just wanted to race. Well, I mean, that same summer, we started it in like March. I think we got my dad in his shop in March, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And subsequently, same time as I made that decision in my head, the shop right next to my dad's shop opened up, and my old boss was selling his, you know, he was selling his Mustang dyno for like dirt cheap. I drove up to Danbury, I talked to my football coaches, I told them I wasn't coming back in the fall, and I dropped out.
There's no car here that's gonna beat mine. There ain't no car that's gonna beat that black GTR here today. It's just that simple.
That was the all-wheel drive final. That was the all-wheel drive final.
And we ruined racing for a lot of all-wheel drive cars, you know, because we went out and we were going in cash days and this and that. And at that point, they had a couple Talons and stuff in cash days like that, but nothing that was really a competitor. You know, with these rear-wheel drive cars, we were going down to Maryland, and as many races as we can get into, we would do it. And the car was a real competitor because it's all-wheel drive, and it just worked on the street. You know, I had it set up on my phone to where I could change my launch control, my RPM, boost, all that stuff on the phone.
They don't have to bet, so they know what I'll race, but see what's going on. Maybe this car is going to race. The other, like, you want to do at least 2 would be good. Yeah, 2 races and come back. Or
2 races, come back.
But yo, what I would like to do is then, if we're setting up 3, we'll call us first, me and you. Yeah. After we fucking race, yo, me and you go chill at the 7-Eleven up the road. We ain't coming back down to what we get to miss the other races, bro. I mean, win or lose, the DP, man, or whatever. I don't care. I am too.
The Honda and the Evo are trying to find out.
The car's been from bolt-ons to 1,000 horsepower to 1,200 horsepower to 1,500 horsepower.
What do you want to do about the light?
The light. Oh, how do we know you're ready? Yeah. Oh, jump the light, you know, on camera. You jump. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play no bullshit, you jump the light, you lose the pot.
I'm not gonna.
I understand, so we're okay with that?
That's fine.
All right, everyone heard that.
Yeah.
So you don't do nothing then, someone jumps the light, it's over.
I mean, if you could point to me second, that'd be ideal.
Turbo car, yeah. You alright with that? You get ready for it?
Yeah, you need a long time?
No, not at all, but I just want to make sure I'm ready, you know?
No. Just a quick heads up, man. If I'm waiting more than like, I'm not gonna move, you'll know there's no races. I ain't moving. I ain't even gonna yell, I ain't gonna holler, I'm just letting you know. So there's no bullshit.
Point to you, I'll get on it, and I should be ready right away. I just want to make sure I'm ready.
As long as there's a clean launch, first car that crosses the finish line.
If he doesn't want to be at the finish line, you can't force him.
Don't like fuck. You got like GoPros or something, right? New ones.
I don't have
set it
nothing,
off. Oh, okay.
I have nitrous.
There's not many people at the finish.
take that money!
Don't you fucking
I dropped out. I dropped out of school going into my senior year. You know, my mom was crying. My grandparents were pissed. You know, everybody wants to see, you know, their kids, their grandchildren go to college and, you know, do what everybody else says you're supposed to do to be successful. You know, and that's when it really became reality for me. You know, so we started a one-bay shop with a dyno and a lift, and my dyno payment was more than my rent. You know, but I just had to make it work. Jamie was always tuning there, and that's what it was in the beginning, and that's really where it really gained traction. Then when I stepped into the GTR market with Chris from Straight Jacket, you know, we partnered up and we wanted to do the GTR thing. Our lease was up. We had another shop lined up. We had everything packed up in the trailer, like everything. The whole shop was empty, swept out. New guy was moving in the next day. And we went over to take some measurements for the dyno at the new shop, and the guy canceled the lease on the spot. Long story short, we were without a shop from November 1st to March 1st. So we were without a shop for almost 6 months.
keep a company afloat.
We didn't. It was tough. It was just me and him. For a little while, I was working out of the Straight Jacket shop. You know, Chris let me work out of there, and you know that helped me out a lot. You know, to try to stay afloat. You know, but I was working at night out of my dad's side of the shop. You know, we were going through planning and zoning out for months, planning and zoning meetings, lawyers, this and that, just to try to get a shop, you know, in another town. And the money wasn't coming in, and slowly I couldn't take in as much volume as I used to be able to because I didn't have a place to work, you know. The whole time this was all going on, I never marketed Command Performance as a GTR shop. I was just doing Evos, Supras, stuff like that, street cars, because I didn't think that the shop that I had in Brantford, it was a really nice shop, but it had one lift, the dyno, and a small office area, stuff like that, but it wasn't adequate for like the kind of customers that I wanted to attract. February of last year was the first post of a GTR on our Instagram because I wanted to hit the ground running. So with us being without a shop for all that long, you know, you always have those customers like, oh, I want to do a big build, I want to do this, I want to do that, and nobody stepped up to the plate. It was the end of December, and like I said, we were running out of money, and slowly the work stopped coming in. We're in trouble here, and we got to make something happen, because if not, we're gonna finally get into one of these big shops, and now our customers are gonna be gone. My buddies O'Hare from Boost Logic, you know, they're one of the big contributors to the car now, and said, hey, I got these turbos that'll compete at this event. And this was weeks before that. So it was in the back of my mind, I was thinking about it. And I started thinking, how can we make noise in this industry? Our first GTR World Cup as Command was GTR World Cup 2018. That's when I took Kimbo from being a car that raced on the street to a car to represent my business. Like I said before, I was without a shop. I was running out of money. I was running out of customers because I didn't have anywhere to work on their shit. Jamie let me borrow his shop. I racked up a bunch of debt on a credit card. O'Hare at Boost Logic helped me out, and we built this car to go compete at GTR World Cup.
Try to be straight. Yeah. I'm trying to get right. Am I right? Oh, am I right? All right. So we did some testing yesterday on a few cars. Some things went well, others didn't. We're replacing some parts right now, getting ready. A couple oil changes, you know.
Maintenance shit, because you know we build killers that don't require a lot. So nothing crazy. GTR World Cup 2020.
I think we got about 15 cars here today for World Cup. Some competitors for sure. And I think we're gonna do pretty well.
As soon as this weather clears up, we'll be out there, get things going. Do what we do, Command Boys.
You got your shot.
Today was first round eliminations.
Now give me mine. well.
Mac had owned a shop named Command Performance in Brantford.
Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away.
I build GTRs.
Why don't you tell all these nice folks why you've been ducking me?
You know, you've got a big mouth, you know?
When it comes to racing my car, you know, I don't talk shit often. But when it comes to racing my car, like, I'm confident. And I'm going to be confident. That's what started it off.
Somebody close it!
Came out of nowhere. Nobody really knew who we were. Went to the final there. A month later, we won TX2K. And it was all over from there. I got into right after GTR World Cup. I got a phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't even awake because I didn't even set an alarm because I didn't have to wake up. I didn't have a fucking shot, you know. I got a phone call. I just happened to roll over at 7 a.m. My phone's ringing. I answered it. It was a guy who I'd been looking at a shop. I'd been, you know, basically begging the dude to rent me this shop for a long time. He said, listen, it's yours if you want it. I said, I'm on my way. And I leased it. We got in there a couple weeks before that TX2K. We won TX2K after that, and the shop was full ever since.
And this is an important time to have this message get out. TX2K, the yearly illegal activity that goes on, started yesterday. We, every single agency up here, has a plan. We are all working together on this. And we're going to put you in jail. Period. And if you're participating in these races and we find a way of some charge on you, we're taking those cars as well.
Mac Brosnan. 193 miles an hour for Brosnan.
It changed everything. And, you know, like I had mentioned before, I was just thinking, how can I make some noise in this industry? Obviously, the GTR industry isn't an easy industry to get into. It's fucking expensive. And it's not easy to, you know, it's easy to have all the right stuff, but making it work is what really puts everything together. So I called Rob. He's my tuner. He lives in Dubai. I told him this is what I want to do. And he told me it's never going to happen. But if it does, I'll tune the car.
Olenzo ain't never seen anything move that fast. And now he knows, without a doubt. At our last lap, we clocked 218 miles an hour down the Lausanne Straight.
when I was little, I always was into drag racing because my dad was into drag racing. You know, he was building he has a '86 Regal, and he was building it from the time I was a little kid to he still has it now. We just had it on the dyno not that long ago. And that's really what got me into it. You know, I saw the kids racing junior dragsters and shit at Lebanon. That piece of cardboard, and I was getting signature, you know, autographs from little kids racing junior dragsters when I was really little, you know. So ever since then, that's what I want to do. Drove all the way to Florida, fingers crossed. That was the first race motor I'd ever built. And the car ended up making a bunch of power, and he looked at me and he was like, it might happen.
No, let him. He's gonna fucking yell at you.
Yo, one of them jumped.
Oh man.
I'm not letting go of the cup till they want trapping.
No, we gotta see what jet you pulling over here though.
No.
No, we gotta see what size jet you got.
Hey, y'all should hit him with the light. Y'all should hit him with the
JV, you ain't on this? JV, is JV in? We're holding the money. We're holding the money down. No, JV's out. JV's out. JV's got the light. Jesus Christ. Empty. All right. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm chasing the race. Remember? Are you ready?
No, are we doing countdown or are we doing cheers?
Ready? Off the light. Going off the light. Going off the light. Mac, you ready?
Wait, so I thought I'd get a break.
3, 2, 1.
Chase the race. All right, 1, 2.
No.
Oh, chase.
And like I told you before, I didn't have the money, but it was a good deal and I made it work. And so he sold that to me, and you know, then from there, that's where we got Kimbo. Nobody bets on it. They found that out the hard way. Now they're, we'll bet at the starting line. I'm like, no, you won't. You know, from the beginning, before, like I said, we weren't that successful in drag racing in the GTR industry before. You know, I knew we had what it takes, but we couldn't put it all together. And so when I first got the car, that was when Chris just had first started working for me, and I was a street racer. That's all I wanted to do, was street race. You know, I didn't have that much interest in the track stuff.
So what happened? Go. Action.
Oh, now he's a fucking pro. So he got all set up. Oh, watch out. It's the boys. Wait.
Once upon a time in the project. Once upon a time in the project.
Do what you feel passionate about. Don't be afraid to go outside the box. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail big. To dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.